Guess who's back? Back again. J-Rod's back. Tell your friends. Guess who's back? 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 That's right, folks. I am back. New and refreshed. As you know, it's been almost a week since I did an episode for all of you. And of course, I apologize for that because, as you know, last week here in my hometown of San Diego, California, we had Comic-Con, and basically my regular day job was kind of conflicted, not allowing me to do this for all of you to do some amazing reviews. But to friendly reminder to everybody, everything that happened last week, like AEW Blood and Guts, TNA, Ring of Honor, all of the AEW shows from last week, including the much recent events from Stardom, except for the Rendezvous shows, they will not be reviewed at this time due to the fact that some of the major promotions we know here in the States decided to skip those and just focus on this week. But also, for our today's episode, if you guys are still fans of Japanese wrestling, you guys are in the right channel. Now, I've always said that Mondays are the most boring day, but today it's not a boring day because if you guys are big fans of Japanese wrestling, lucky for you, we're going to give you some kick-ass Japanese wrestling reviews for all of you. Now, the first one we're going to do, this is top priority for everyone. As you know, we are now in day 7 of the G1 Climax from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, I have not seen day 4, 5, and 6 due to the circumstances involving, of course, Con, so I will skip those, but I'll do the best of my knowledge to keep up what's going on, especially when it comes to the win-loss record of the tournament. But, however, first things first, we're going to be reviewing, of course, 2 Yoshi Promotion events that took place. The first one goes back to July 20th. This one is from Sendai Girls, and they return back to the SendaiPIT. This one features 2 interesting matches involving Stardom talent. We have Mina Shitakawa taking on the former Sendai Girls World Champion, Mika Iwata, and of course, Starlight Kid teams up with Miyu Amasaki, who is now part of a new faction, taking on one of the strongest tag teams in Sendai Girls. We're talking about Yu and Big Hash, Shihiro Hashimoto. So that's going to be interesting, and we also got other matches involved on that as well. And then finally we have, of course, Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling with the graduation day of Nao Kakuta. As you all know, today is already July 30th, I believe. Yep, July 30th. Nao Kakuta is officially retired, but that does not mean we cannot review what exactly happened on her final show that features her. And it's a sad day because if you guys are fans, then you want to know exactly how this ends for her, where one journey ends for her here, but who knows what the journey, her next journey will be. And then, of course, we'll cap up our episode with some news updates. Now, keep in mind, some of these updates are relatively prior during the time of the week of Comic-Con that I was unable to share, but you guys will keep up to it. So we'll see how that goes out as we go. So basically, we have, of course, upcoming events from the promotions, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was not put on this episode, we can either put it on the next episode or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, do the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions set aside, it's been almost a week, so let's get this show on the road. And I believe it's time for our very first review, and this is from Yoshi Promotion, Sendai Girls. Okay, Sendai Girls. This recently took place on July 20th at the SendaiPIT in Sendai, Miyagi, Japan. This is their home base, if anybody knows. Now, as you know, recently I did a much recent event where they did a show in Tokyo where we witnessed Sayori Inouye defeating Mika Iwata to become, of course, double champion. She is now our current back as the white belt champion and the Sendai Girls world champion. But however, this is for that day. We're going to review what happened on the 20th of July. Now, our first match, we have rookie Yuna taking on Lady Destroyer Hiroyo Matsumoto. Now, of course, you look at Yuna, who is still a rookie. You've seen how she dresses. But however, you probably would guess, of course, Hiroyo Matsumoto will walk out as the victor. She did some sort of had Yuna in a somewhat of a torture rack type setting, and then tossed her up to her knee and got her right in the gut, and just like that, it was over. So Lady Destroyer walked away with the win. Our next match, we have a 6-woman tag match. We have Chi-Chi and Zones from Evolution teaming up with Yuna Suzuki, taking on Miyuki Takase, Mina Samuels, and Millie McKenzie. Now, those who probably would guess this was going to fall in favor of Miyuki Takase, Mina, and Millie. Now, the reason is this, of course, Millie and Mina have been regulars coming in Sendai Girls, because they basically are kind of like the home girls, mostly because they're foreigners. Millie's been with this promotion for a long time, long before she ever joined NXT in UK. But however, she's in this match. But however, the match ended with Mina Samuels doing a somewhat of a knee strike onto Suzuki, allowing her to pick up the win. So it kind of went in that direction. Now, our next match, we have 2 of the homegrown girls in Sendai Girls facing off each other. We have, of course, one half of the tag team champions, Yurika Oka. She takes on the queen of hardcore queen herself, Dash Shizako. So you probably could guess. Now, Dash Shizako has more experience than Oka combined. But she was able to pick up the win with a frog splash. No hardcore weapons were used in this match. It was just a clean, straight up match, just simpler. However, as soon as Dash won the match, she had a surprise visit against the one person she challenged for the belt. Now remember, when Sayori Inouye defeated Mika Iwata, it was Dash who decided to, of course, step up to the plate and challenge her for the Sendai Girls World Championship. So we probably will see that match take place very soon, and hopefully we'll get the time and date, and also possibly the full card. So please stand by on that. Now, our next match, we have Lena Cross teaming up with Veni, formerly known as Asuka, taking on one of the former tag champions, Manami and Ryo Mizunami. So you would think that this is going to be a good match. Now, those who ever seen Veni, she's a bit of a vicious wrestler who doesn't take any crap from anybody. Of course, Lena's the same, but she's a bit more taller than everyone. But it was Lena Cross who pinned Manami, uh, of course, in this match. But I wouldn't be surprised if Lena gets in the conversation, since she pinned one half of the former tag team champions, that she will be ending up in a title consistency in the future for the tag belts. So we will see what happens as we go from here. Now, our next match, this is the semi-main event. We have Mina Shitakawa coming in all the way from Stardom, taking on the former white belt champion and Sendai Girls world champion Mika Iwata. Now, of course, when we see these type of matches where we see, of course, someone like Mina stepping into the territory, she will eventually lose to the homegrown in Sendai. So that's always been one of those questions we ask ourselves when it comes to seeing this. Now, as much as I would say, yes, I mean, Mika Iwata would have been the most logical choice to win, but however, there's those that would look at this as, okay, Mina's a bigger star. We would see that someone will walk out as a winner. But unfortunately, this match was so intensified, so brutal, it ended in a time limit draw after 15 minutes. Now, I wouldn't be surprised that it's somewhere down the road if Mina wants to challenge her again, but this time in a Stardom ring. That is something I'm sure that could happen, but we'll see where that goes. Now, our main event, we have, of course, the other ladies from Stardom, Miyu Amasaki and Starlight Kid. As you know, those two started a unit with, of course, Suzuki, Mason, and Azumi. They take on, of course, the former tag champions, Team 200 kilogram, Yu and Big Hatch herself, Chihiro Hashimoto. Now, of course, this was going to be a big challenge for both Amasaki and Kid. The reason is this. You got these two ladies, Team Yu and Big Hash. They are two big women. You would think that they have no chance. I mean, you would say that would have been most likely how it would end. But, yeah, it did end it in that way. It was Big Hash herself who picked up the win when she applied a lariat on Amasaki. So just like that, of course, Team 200 kilograms walked away with the win. So I think that's pretty much it what happened in Sendai Girls. Now, as I said, we do know that Dash Shizako will be challenging for the Sendai Girls World Championship against Sayori Onoi. Now, it's still unclear when or where, but once that information comes out, I might post those at the news updates down the line. So please stand by to that. So at this moment, we are done with Sendai Girls. It's time to move on with our next review, and that is from Tokyo Show Pro Wrestling. Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling. It's graduation day. As you know, Nao Kakuta, at some point, I don't know, remember, was it late last year or early this year, she announced her retirement, which was very surprisingly, but this came off after, of course, she had to relinquish her tag title, who she held it with Hikari Noah. Now, a lot of that information is separate. I don't know much what happened, but I do know Nao Kakuta felt disappointed when she learned that, of course, Hikari actually, of course, graduated. There was no ceremony, all that. But, of course, Nao Kakuta, in fact, is graduating and retiring. Let me tell you a bit about her. Those who know this, she started her career in At-Risk Girls. She was trained by Yuna Manaze, the same one who trained Tam Nakano, Natsupoi, Sari Onoi, Unagi Sayaka, Mika Ozaki, and various others. But she did know several people from the Atlas Girls times, kind of like recently you might have saw that match that she was in with Natsupoi Sairunui and Tai Hamna, who also was trained by them. Uh, Basically, that's how they knew each other, and of course, she ended up working in Tokyo Super Wrestling. She wasn't one of the strongest wrestlers, to be honest with you, but I always thought that she was different and unique, and at the same time, she had a very catchy theme song during her time with Tokyo Pro Wrestling. But she did had an amazing tag team run with Hikari Noa. I mean, she learned a few tricks from her, being a little dirty and all that. But, those were really good. It turns out that she's also good friends with Mai Sakurai, who also was from Saturday Girls at the time. But it's, of course, a bittersweet now that she made the decision, and she'll get her proper send-off. Now, if you guys saw the recent event, Summer Sun Princess, she was supposed to have her match with Yuki Kamifuku, but due to the situation of her health, she was unable to do so. But this time, her final match was going to be against Mizuki. Now, we'll get to that in a bit. Now, of course, like any other event, it was opened up with Sayuri Namba, who is in fact the ring announcer, and she gave all the lowdown and information to the fans and all that. And of course, we had the Up Girls do the performance. Now, I don't know what the song they used, but yes. Now, our first match, we have, of course, a 6-woman tag match. We have Chika Nanaze, Toga, and Wakana Uehara. They take on Shino Suzuki and our current tag champions, Daisy Monkey, consistent of Arisu Endo and Suzumi. Now, I know some of you would think by watching this, of course, someone from Daisy Monkey was going to pick up the win. You're probably right, because they are the strongest team so far. It was, of course, Suzumi with a crossbody launch off the corner side of the top corner of the turnbuckle that picked up the win onto Nanaze, and just like that, it was over. I was surprised she didn't apply her the cutter move known as ring the bell. So, very interesting. Now, our next match, we have a 3-way match. We have Uda Takami versus Iwari Visa's Big Kaiju Shoko Nakajima. So you would think that this is going to be a very simple match, but it's not. But however, you would think this match will fall in favor to Nakajima, since she is one of the veterans in this promotion. Yeah, it probably would have played out that way. But of course, because she could have pinned anybody. I mean, she could have pinned Iwari or Takami, but it was Takami who picked up, who was the one who ended up getting the 3 count when, I'm not sure if I saw this right, Nakajima applied, of course, a Spanish suplex, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next match, we have another 6-woman tag match. We have Kira Summer, Kaya Toribami, and Moka Miyamoto. They take on Haru Kazashiro, Runa Okubo, and of course, Miyu Watanabe. Now, I know some of you were thinking this match was going to fall in favor with Okubo, Watanabe, and of course, Kazushiro. Now, the reason you would say that, because they have the Princess champion in the mix. That would have been the most logical, but however, that wasn't the case. But I was surprised, of course. I have seen Moka Miyamoto grown up a lot. She has, we know she has challenged for championships all the time, but she has never won a championship herself. She had various tag team partners like Julia Nagana, Yuki Arai. So basically, there's that. But it was her who picked up the win with a very interesting submission on Okubo, and just like that, it was completely over. Now, our semi-main event, this one is another 6-woman tag match. We have an 8-woman tag match, my bad. We have Pam Harajuku, Raku, Yuki Aino, and of course, Rika Tatsumi, taking on Mito Kiru, Yuki Kamifuku, Maki Ito, and Miyu Yamashita. Now, Watching this, I thought, like many people would have assumed, because we have Maki Ito and Miyu Yamashita involved, that this match is already done for and went to the favor. No, that's what I've assumed. But it was Rika Tatsumi who picked up the win when she did like a running hip attack onto Mahiro Kiru, and just like that, it was over. Now, our main event, this one features, of course, Mizuki versus Nao Kakuta. Basically, this was her last official match. But it started out okay. But, of course, like any other match, when it comes to wrestling graduating and having her retirement, the entire roster makes the jump on her in the corner of the ring. And that's exactly what they did. But it was a very impressive match. And, of course, it was Mizuki that picked up the win with the cutie special, and just like that, it was over. Then we have, of course, Kakuta actually doing her promo, then the send-off, and I thought it was a beautiful moment, but at the same time, it was sad now that this is the last time we get to see her. So, hope whatever she does in her next journey, will support her and all this other stuff. So it was great to see her for one last time, and now it's sad that she's gone. So we'll see what the future holds for her. And I think we are done with Tokyo Pro Wrestling. I believe it's time for our final review, and I believe this is New Japan Pro Wrestling G1. Okay. As we continue with more with New Japan Pro Wrestling with the G1 Climax 34. Now, for the record, I'm making this for everyone. I have not seen day 4, 5, and 6 due to the circumstances throughout the week, but I'll do the best of my ability to catch up what I can do now. Now, remember, just to keep you guys updated, we are in fact only focusing on the A block matches only. So, I think I have a very clear description on the record of every wrestler here. Now, let's begin with our first match. We have, of course, that piece of garbage, as always, Evil, facing off against Cal Newman. Now, of course, Evil, as you know, is undefeated. From my understanding, he has not lost a single match, all thanks to that prick, Dick Togo. Yeah, folks, he's using his own personal dick taking care of the mess. That's what he's been doing throughout the entirety of the match, and not to mention, he had the exposed buckle open. And he used that in his advantage to pick up his next win with the Everything is Evil. So currently he is now in the lead with 10 points. So if you know 2 points, you gain 2 points, that's how it is. And you add them up with 10, that means he is now 5 wins so far. As for Cal Newman, he only has 4 points, which means he is currently 2 wins and 3 losses. Now, I often say this, anything could change on here and out. Now, as long as that sleazeball Dick Togo is still helping him, sooner or later someone is going to take him out and make sure Evil loses. Now, we know Evil is determined to win the IWGP World Heavyweight title, which he was unsuccessful against Jon Moxley. So we'll see where that leads us. But like I said before, anything can change here on out. Now, our next match, we have the Great Khan versus Jake Lee. Now, Jake Lee does not have the strongest, how do I say this, record ever. You probably would have thought he would have been unbeatable, and I think many of us thought the same thing. But of course, Great Khan, he was the only one who hasn't had any wins throughout this entire time. Now, you probably would have assumed that somehow one of them would walk out as a win or have a time limit draw. Well, it did not happen. It was Great Khan with the eliminator on Jake Lee that allowed him to finally his first win with 2 points. So both of them are currently with 2 points each. That means they only have 1 win and 4 losses. So the question we ask ourselves, can they catch up, or they will remain the bottom of the barrel? Well, we just don't know. Things could change from here, not just like those who are undefeated, but we'll see. Our next match, we have the Roughneck, or the Shooter, Shota Umino taking on Zack Sabre Jr. Now, much like Evil, Zack was in fact the also undefeated. But the real question is, could he defeat him? Now, however, there was circumstances. You can see moments where Shota Umino, he's like, his leg was out completely. Like, all the submissions that Zack has applied to break him would have been the deciding factor. But however, that was not the case. He was able to pick up. Of course, Shota Umino surprised everyone. He applied the Blaze Blade, and then finally, of course, Death Rider, allowing him to pick up a huge win against Zack Sabre Jr. And this will be, of course, Zack Sabre Jr.'s first loss. Now that his undefeated record is broken, so that means he is currently with 8 points. As for Shota Umino, he has 6. Now let's look at the records, how it is. Shota Umino has 3 wins and 2 losses. Zack Sabre Jr. has 4 wins and 1 loss. Now those are saying that Zack Sabre Jr. is the fan favorite to win, but we are still have enough time for this tournament to continue. I think this will grow up, will end somewhere around next month or so, but we still got a long way to go from here. Now our next match, we have Gabe Kidd versus Shingo Takagi. Now, not the record of the tournament, but record of their confrontation. Now remember, Gabe Kidd has 2 losses against Shingo. One was for the Never Openweight title that happened recently, not too long ago, and and another one I don't remember when before that. So that's the question that remained. And of course, Gabe Kidd being saying that he is the real future, the real fighting spirit. He thinks that everyone else, like Shota Umino, Yota Tsuji, that are full of crap, that they are not the real future. But Gabe Kidd surprises us when he put away Shingo Takagi with the power driver, giving him his next 2 points with the total of 6, meaning he currently has 3 wins and 2 losses, while Shingo has 2 wins and 3 losses. However, in the post-match, of course, Gabe Kidd got into the face of Tanahashi, the president. Well, Tanahashi, told him, make things happen yourself. He wants him to make things happen, but Tanahashi doesn't need to do squat, so we'll see. Now our main event, this is a very interesting match. These two guys know each other very well. They were in the same team together, Sanada versus Naito. Now those who don't remember the history between these two, Naito and Sanada, well, Sanada used to be a member of LIJ under Naito's leadership, and then recently we saw him make the decision to leave LIJ to be part of what's now just 5 guys. However, this is a very interesting match of those two confronting each other. Of course, the last time they confronted each other was back at twice earlier this year. One at Wrestle Kingdom and the other one, I think, in Wrestling Dondaku. But however, it was Naito who picked up the win with the Destino, giving him his next 2 points with a total of 4. Sanada also has 4 points. So that means as we speak, they have 2 wins and 3 losses. So basically, we don't know how things are. Now keep in mind, folks, as we speak with these points, some things can change along the way. Now, of course, as I said, Evil is currently the only one undefeated. He is currently in the lead, but anything could happen starting from now all the way to the end. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So I think we will have our next one probably this week. I'm not sure. Let me look at my calendar. I think so. Yeah, we may have another one by possibly Wednesday. We'll see. So right now we'll just leave things as it is with New Japan. So let's move on with some news updates. So welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with updates for upcoming events from the promotions themselves. Now, as you know, We have RevPro coming up for their upcoming event called Summer Sizzler on August 11th. Now, I don't know the order of the matches, but here are the ones that have been announced. We have Trevor Lee, formerly known as Cameron Grimes, taking on Luke Jacobs. And then, of course, we have a tribute match in the name of James Castle. Two wrestlers will be facing off each other in its memory. One is a guy you guys may remember, Gideon Gray, the sleazy weasel from the United Empire. He faces against Dan McGee. So I don't know much about their history, but it's going to happen. And then we do have a #1 contendership in a 4-way for the RevPro Undisputed British Tag Team titles. We have Golden Boy Santos and David Francisco versus Sunshine Machine versus Greedy Souls versus Youngblood. Now, MJF, as you know, I was aware that he decided to rename the championship, the international title, into the American Championship. He will be facing against Michael Oku. Those who know this, Michael Oku, it was in fact Will Ospreay's rival. So basically, he's trying to revisit an old rival of Will Ospreay. Probably he's going to show him this is how you do it instead of toying him. We do have, of course, Ricky Knight Jr. Versus Sozaya. It was later told that it was going to be a rematch from a previous match. Then we have the undisputed British women's title defended. Danny Lewin defends her belt against Nina Samuels. And then we have Dominic Dijak. You may know him as Dijak or Dominic Dijakovic. He takes on Robbie X. And then, of course, we have a Cruiserweight Scrambler qualifier match. We have Leon Slater versus Jack Cartwheel. And then, of course, we have two Kitsune women's wrestling back-to-back events. Now, the first one, of course, takes place on August 17th here in San Diego at the Brick by Brick. We have Janai Kai, Nagisa Nozaki, Lady Pink, and Kenzie Page. Now, those who know this, Kenzie Page is the current NWA World Women's Champion. So basically, she'll be defending her belt. However, the following day, as you know, they will be heading back to LA for the Yabai. Now, if Kenzie Page remains as a champion, she'll be defending the belt as well on the 18th of August in LA. Now, it's still unclear who she'll be facing. Now, two matches have been announced on that particular day. We have Maya World taking on Aaliyah James. Those who know this, Aaliyah James was part of the NXT UK brand for a while until, of course, they dissolved that brand. Then we have a tag match. We have Aja Kong teaming up with Jada Stone. They take on Janai Kai and Jordan Blade. And then finally, of course, you know, CML will have the Grand Prix event that will take place on the 28th of August. They announced, of course, Davey Boy Smith Jr. will be participating. So that's going to be one heck of a event. Now, some interesting developments going on in the world of pro wrestling. Many of you have already heard or not that Buddy Matthews has re-signed with WWE. So basically, you know, that's what's been happening. We do, of course, have we have to say congratulations to Blair Davenport and her new husband. You guys know him too, Chase Yu, Riley Osborne. They just recently got married. This happened back on July 26th. So congratulations, guys. Also, an interesting, a new relationship has been announced within the WWE talent. Dakota Kai has entered a relationship with Eddie Thorpe. So this is now news for everyone. Now, moving on. As you know, may have heard, I talked about AEW already earlier with Buddy Matthews. Well, Ray Phoenix's contract, this was reported by Sean Ross Sapp, with AEW will be expiring this year. Now, it's still unclear where, but we do know that his brother Ray Phoenix, his contract will be expiring soon. We don't know anything new what's going to happen. There are those that hope that he will stay with AEW, but we do know the WWE have an interest in Penta. As for Ray Phoenix, that's something we don't know, but we'll get to that. Now, for those who also know this, Anna Jay will be in action. She'll be making the rest of the month of August to Stardom. She's going to participate in the 5-Star Grand Prix. So she entered that, and it was announced that she will be in the Blue Star column, and her matches have been announced for that as well. Let me pull that up real quick. Yes. She'll be facing Saturday Night on the 10th of August. Starlight Kid on the 12th of August, Suri on the 15th, Xena on the 17th. Originally, this was supposed to be either Lady C or Miyu Amasaki on the 20th, but however, Miyu Amasaki has been announced as the opponent for that. And then finally on the 24th, she'll face the Bear. So that's gonna be interesting to watch. Now, MVP, as you know, reflected on his time with WWE, talk about how he just came back for a one-off to show his son that he's a WWE talent. Then, of course, he received a job as a producer. Then he laced up his boots. So basically, it was a wild ride for him, but it was worth it. So he made history in that amount of time since his during his WWE run. Now, Shuri, as you know, she's been distraught with the betrayal of Konami, and this is what she said. Now that I think about it, there were times I thought, when she was talking about the match, or her small movements or glances during the match. I didn't understand what they were saying, but I could see Oedo Tai saying something to Konami. Of course, I thought that can't be true, and I believed in Konami. Now, however, because of Konami, Suri began to question about Saki Kashima, and this is what she said. Now that I think about it, Saki Kashima also came from Oedo Tai, right? I want to believe that she's okay, but... So there are times right now that she's doubting the fact that Kashima, she could betray her. But to be honest with you, I feel that Kashima has shown her loyalty to her. Now remember, she was kicked out of Oedo Tai because, I don't know if Natsuko Tora thinks of her as she's a nuisance or an idiot, I don't know. But Kashima, has always run away from other wrestlers from other factions, but never with Oedo Tai. But we'll see how that rolls up with her. Now, some of you have been happy to hear that Natsupoi is now the new white belt champion. So it's foretold there was a reason why she's longed for this belt. It turned out that in 2016, she saw Kairi Hojo, or as you know her, Kairi Sane, or just simply Kairi, won that belt around that time. And this is what Natsupoi had to say. Until then, I wonder why everyone thought I wanted to wear the belt. But after seeing that match, seeing Kairi continue to challenge over and over again, I told At-Risk Girls representative Keiji Sakaguchi, I want to able to wear that belt. So people never understood why, but it makes sense. I mean, she did look up to Kairi. I mean, when you remember when Kairi made her return to Stardom, it would make sense. But there's that. Now, you guys may have heard recently Meiko Satomura, who recently made appearances in WWE's Japanese shows, announced her retirement. It has officially begun. This will end in April of 2025 in Korakuen Hall. However, she will be doing some events with Sendai Girls. This is some of the events that she announced. She'll be in Fukuoka on the 28th of September, Hokkaido on the 14th of August, Nagita on the 9th of November, Korakuen Hall on the 17th of November, Osaka on the 30th, Sendai on the 8th, and then of course back to Korakuen in April of 2025. So there'll be more dates to be announced, so we just gotta wait and see where that leads us. But however, some of you may question, will she ever come back? Well, according to Fightful Select, most likely we will not see that. Now, Rasi Ogawa has spoken about Julia, as you know, that Julia may not have enough time, will not be enough time, remaining. She'll have enough time remaining in Marigold. Apparently, her events will go up to, of course, August, due to the fact that she'll be moving to WWE here to the States. So, I mean, she feels like he always thought of her as a leader and all this. But it's great to hear that he thinks of her that way. But we'll see where that leads us with her. But also, speaking of Julia, you may have heard, many of you who know this or not, recently Julia and Suri will be teaming up to face Kizuna Tanaka and Victoria Yuzuki. Julia had an interesting message towards Kizuna, and this is what she said. Kizuna Tanaka, did you know I always thank your father and mother that I was able to meet Suri? You were destined to be beaten by us from the moment you debuted. So basically, they had no idea that they were introduced by that. So that's very interesting. Um, Dave Meltzer, in the other hand, has been speaking about Julia and Stephanie Vacure recently about, that she's under contract, but it's still no telling when she'll be making their way. So we will pay attention to that. And then finally, those who remember, you may have saw recently this past Sunday during the Red Belt Championship match, Kamitani betrayed Maika, allowing for Natsuko Tora to become the Red Belt. However, this was something that was planned out that we did not know. However, there is a connection to it. Those who remember, Momo Watanabe whispered this to Kamitani, and basically seems like everything was falling into place. But we'll get to that at some point. So, but for now, I think that's pretty much it. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we have NXT. However, haven't decided yet, but originally I was planning to do the Stardom shows for this particular episode, but due to the timing, it was impossible. But hopefully I can do those. I want to get those out of the way as soon as possible, but we'll just have to wait and see. But we'll just wing it. Now, also, I want to make things very clear for everybody. Anything from last week from AEW, Ring of Honor, TNA, and other events, I will not be reviewing those due to the fact that I was unable to review them. I want to catch up to what's going on now. I have been keeping an eye out on social media throughout my work time, and of course what's been happening, but I don't want to waste time with those as we speak. Now, the Stardom ones, and also the ones that I just did today with Sendai Girls and Tokyo Super Wrestling, they were okay due to the fact that no other shows appeared afterwards. So things like that could happen. Now, the Stardom shows, like this one with the Wonder and the World Rendezvous events from this past weekend, are going to be happening. So we'll see how it goes from here on out. But until then, I'll leave things as it is. So I will say this: I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day.